1 week from today, Republican and Democratic voters in Maine will choose their party's nominee for governor. Shawn Moody of Gorham is one of the 4 Republican candidates.
Shawn Moody founded and ran Moody's Collision Centers, a chain of 11 body shops in Maine. He has never held elective office, and he's with us tonight on 207. Thanks for coming in. Good to have you here.
My pleasure, Rob and Amanda.
Paul LePage is our current governor. He, like you, ran as a businessman, as an outsider, someone who wasn't familiar with Augusta. He's had difficulty getting along, certainly with Democrats and even with members of his own Republican Party. Given the challenges that he's had as a businessman who did not know his way around Augusta, why should Mainers elect another businessman governor who doesn't know his way around Augusta?
Well, that's a fair question. I think when you look at individuals, and how we lead, we're obviously everybody's different. I think if you look at my background, 34% of our company is owned by the coworkers. So I'm a very collaborative individual, how to get people to work together to move things forward. I think the governor's done a tremendous job in getting a fiscal house in order. He repaid the hospital $750 million in debt. He's gotten a pension back under control in the pension system, and we got some money in the rainy day fund. So I think he's built a fiscal foundation for us to grow our economy and grow our population. We got something to build on, Rob.
You said a couple of months ago that when a school shooting is going on, it could be stopped by someone spraying the shooter with a fire extinguisher. Do you still believe that?
Well, I think that was taken out of context. That was the WVOM radio program. We had talked about school resource officers, real solutions to some of these just heinous crimes that are occurring across our country. So that was just a one-off. It wasn't meant to be, you're going to go against somebody with a rifle with a fire extinguisher. But what I will say is when you're put in those situations, sometimes you got to be your own first responder. So I don't think anything's off the table. And as it turned out, they actually offer that in school shooter training, to use a fire extinguisher or use whatever you got to try to protect yourself.
Shawn, you have said you want to reduce state government spending. Which programs specifically would you look at cutting?
That's a good question, Amanda. My background is from the private sector, so I think of 3 things every day, every night. How do we do it better? How do we do it faster? And how do we do it more cost effectively? So to be specific, I would take a hard look at merging the Maine Turnpike Authority in with the DOT. We've got a lot of duplication in our services here in the state, whether it's at the state level or even local communities. They've done a better job at sharing services, whether it's dispatch, fire apparatus, and equipment, and we need to be a role model at the state level. Another example I could use, we have 11 career centers across the state. Well, we've gone from almost double-digit unemployment to full employment. So I think we could take that brick and mortar, eliminate those buildings, turn them back over to the private property tax roll, and take those folks and migrate them onto our community college and university system campuses where they have more access to resources to help people.
Talking about condensing local services, Lewiston and Auburn recently voted against merging, but is that something you think more towns should be looking into in terms of combining services?
Well, I think when each town flies their flag, there's a lot of pride in Maine, let's be real. But I do think that administratively, I'm on the university system and the community college board. No one ever served on both in the state's history. And we've collaborated at a level that's no one's ever seen before. We can transfer credits, and we took $80 million, to your point, $80 million of back office and administration overhead out of the University of Maine system. The other thing that we did is we shut down the system office, 16 Central Street in Bangor, and displaced 157 coworkers out onto the campuses. So those are the things that we really need to do. Take a look at how do we lower property taxes. The state's got a lot of real estate that's duplicated, and we need to turn those back over to the town tax rolls, property tax rolls, lower property taxes, and become more efficient, better use of our services.
Anyone who talks to any business people these days in Maine hears the same thing from them. So many say we cannot find enough workers. Yes. What's the answer to that?
Robbie, absolutely right. And we see in business, you're looking ahead. In politics, you just wait till the crisis is so large. So we started apprenticeship programs, growing young coworkers and mentoring them, with the tradespeople that we have now, the more senior master craftsmen and women. And what we need to do here in the state of Maine is start a migration, initiative. So we take former Mainers, there's like 500,000 Mainers that have left over the last decade in search of opportunity. Let them know, hey, the opportunities are here. Migrate those former Mainers back to the local communities around the state and revitalize Maine's economy, to keep it going. Because you're right, the number one issue facing the state of Maine right now, aging demographic, shrinking population. And so we offer tuition reimbursement, student loan forgiveness, be aggressive, Vermont just came out, they're giving $10,000 to people to relocate to Vermont. So we've got to be aggressive and compete with these New England states.
One more question. You can give us a quick answer. If you are the Republican nominee for governor, would you want Donald Trump to come to Maine and campaign for you?
That's a good question. You know, President Trump, I agree with his tax policy. We just gave $10,000 more in profit sharing to our coworkers as a result of his tax break. Now that's real money.
You want me to come here and campaign for you if you're the nominee?
Well, I'm excited you're coming over to the campaign headquarters. We can celebrate hopefully celebrate a victory with Rob Caldwell.
That's a clear dodge right there. But
No,
we thank you for coming.
no, let's face
Yes or no? Want him to come?
He'd be welcome.
All right.
Absolutely.
That's the final word. We got to leave it there. Sean Moody, Republican candidate for governor. Thank you for
Thank you,
coming
Bob,
in.
Amanda, thank
We'll
you.
be right back.